Hey, have you ever wondered how a game where you punch trees and stack blocks ended up becoming one of the biggest things on the planet? Bigger than some movies or TV shows? Stick around, because you're about to find out why Minecraft isn't just a game. It's like a cultural tsunami that nobody saw coming, and it's got some wild twists you probably don't know about. Alright, let's get into it. Today we're talking about Minecraft, that pixelated game where you can build castles, dig mines, fight creepy monsters, and accidentally fall into lava while trying to cook a steak. It's everywhere. Kids play it on their tablets, adults stream it on Twitch, and even schools use it to teach stuff like history or coding. But how did this simple blocky thing turn into such a massive deal? Over the next 15 minutes or so, we're going to dig deep into where it started, the crazy challenges it faced, the moments that made it explode, and why it still feels brand new even after more than a decade. There's some seriously cool and funny stuff coming up, so don't go anywhere. Now, here's the thing. A lot of people think Minecraft just showed up one day and took over the world, but there was a bigger problem back in the late 2000s that made it catch fire. Gaming at the time was all about these huge, expensive projects. You know, games that cost millions to make, with graphics so realistic they almost looked like real life, and stories so long you needed a notebook to keep track. They were like blockbuster movies you could play. But not everyone was into that. Some gamers were getting burned out. They didn't want to spend $60 on a game just to follow a strict path, memorize controls, or stress about failing a mission. They wanted something different, something loose, creative, and fun without all the pressure. That's exactly what Minecraft offered, and it hit the scene at the perfect moment. Let's rewind to the very beginning. Minecraft didn't start as some grand plan to take over the world. It was the brainchild of one guy, Marcus Persson, who everyone knows as Notch. Back in 2009, Notch was a programmer living in Sweden, not some big shot exec with a fancy office. He was just a regular dude working out of his apartment, coding in his free time. He had this idea for a game where you could dig up blocks and place them somewhere else. That's it. No big story, no fancy cutscenes, no high-end graphics. Just simple, chunky blocks that looked like they came from a kid's toy box. He put the first version online, and it was super basic. You could walk around, break a block, and put it back down. That was the whole game. But here's the crazy part. People loved it. They didn't care that it was rough, or that it didn't have a tutorial. They saw the potential right away. At first, it was just a small thing, a niche project. Notch kept tinkering with it, adding new features little by little. He threw in monsters like zombies that came out at night, skeletons that shot arrows and creepers, those green guys that sneak up and explode. He also added crafting, so you could turn resources like wood and stone into tools and weapons. Later, he introduced multiplayer, so you could jump into a world with friends and build together or fight off mobs as a team. But what really set Minecraft apart was how open-ended it was. There were no rules, no objectives, no win condition. Want to spend hours building a giant statue of a cow? Go for it. Want to dig a hole straight down to see how deep you can go? Have at it. That freedom was like nothing else out there, and it hooked people fast. But it wasn't all smooth sailing. Early on, Notch faced some serious hurdles. For one, the game was full of bugs. I'm talking about stuff like falling through the world, getting stuck in walls, or having your character glitch out and float in midair. There were times when creepers would spawn right next to you and blow up your entire base before you could even react. And creepers? Those weren't even supposed to exist. Notch was trying to code a pig, but he messed up, and out came this explosive green monster. Instead of fixing the mistake, he thought, you know what? That's kind of awesome. And now creepers are one of the most iconic parts of Minecraft. That kind of accidental genius is what made the game so unique. Money was another big challenge. Notch was selling the game for just $5, which was a steal, but he didn't have a big budget or a team. He was basically running the whole operation by himself, answering emails, fixing bugs, and coding updates all from his apartment. But word started spreading fast. People on gaming forums and early YouTube were sharing their builds. Things like massive castles, roller coasters that loop through the sky, even entire cities made out of blocks. The more videos popped up, the more people got curious. It was like a snowball rolling downhill, picking up speed and size. Suddenly, everyone wanted to try this game where you could do whatever you wanted. By 2010, Minecraft was starting to take off. Notch released what's called the beta version, which meant it was still in testing, but playable for anyone who bought it. And that's when things really exploded. Gamers, kids, even parents who didn't know much about video games started hearing about it. But Notch wasn't prepared for the flood. He was still just one guy, and now he had millions of players sending him feedback, posting on forums, and begging for new features. It was overwhelming, but it also showed how much people were connecting with what he'd made. That's when the real development began. Notch brought in more people to help, and they started adding all sorts of cool stuff. They introduced villages with NPCs you could trade with, animals like cows, pigs, and chickens. You could farm for food and materials, and redstone. Redstone is this incredible mechanic. It's like the game's version of electricity. With redstone, you can build machines, traps, doors that open automatically, even working computers if you're patient and clever enough. People went wild for it. They weren't just playing anymore. They were engineering, experimenting, and sharing their creations online. You'd see videos of people building working elevators, hidden doors that only open with a lever, or giant contraptions that launched fireworks or dropped anvils on unsuspecting players. It was mind-blowing how creative people got. But growth always brings drama, and Minecraft was no exception. Around 2011, there was this massive moment that shook things up. Notch decided to sell Minecraft to a company called Mojang, which he'd started to help manage the game. A few years later, in 2014, Microsoft bought Mojang for a jaw-dropping $2.5 billion. Yeah, billion with a B. Fans lost it. Some were furious, thinking Microsoft would ruin the game, turn it into some corporate cash grab with microtransactions and ads. Others were excited, thinking it would get better with more resources and support. It caused a huge split in the community, with arguments raging on forums and social media for months. Here's the good news. Microsoft didn't mess it up. They kept the soul of the game intact. They hired more developers, kept pumping out updates, and added new dimensions like the Nether, a fiery, dangerous place with lava lakes and scary mobs, and the End, where you fight the Ender Dragon, the game's final boss. They also brought in new mobs like pandas, foxes, and glow squid, plus features like better graphics, bigger worlds, and new biomes. They even created Minecraft Education Edition, where teachers use it to teach kids about all kinds of subjects. For example, kids can explore a digital version of ancient Egypt, build models of the human body, or simulate ecosystems. It's amazing how far it's come from just punching trees. Now, let's get to the big climax, the moment Minecraft became more than just a game. That happened around 2014, when it officially launched its full version and hit its peak popularity. By then, it had sold over 100 million copies worldwide. That's more than the population of countries like Japan or Germany. It wasn't just a game anymore, it was a cultural phenomenon. You had YouTubers like Stampy Cat, Dan TDM, and others building huge followings by playing it and sharing their adventures. Kids were dressing up as Steve and Alex for Halloween. There were Minecraft-themed toys, books, clothes, and even rumors of a movie in the works. It was everywhere, on TV, in stores, online. You couldn't escape it. But why did it blow up like that? There are a few reasons. First, the community. Minecraft players are some of the most creative people you'll ever meet. They've built insane things inside the game. Replicas of the Starship Enterprise, the Eiffel Tower, entire fantasy worlds with castles, villages, and working economies. There's this one guy who spent months building a fully functional calculator using redstone. It actually adds, subtracts, and multiplies numbers. That level of dedication is unreal, and the game keeps evolving. Every major update brings new blocks, mobs, or mechanics to play with, so even if you've been playing for years, there's always something new to discover. Another big factor is nostalgia. For a lot of people, Minecraft was their first online game. It was their first time building something with friends, their first time staying up until 2 a.m., trying to survive a zombie siege, their first time feeling that rush of pride when they finished a huge build like a floating island or an underwater base. It's got this warm, fuzzy feeling attached to it, like an old favorite blanket or a song you can't get out of your head. Even new players who jump in today get sucked into that same magic. They see the possibilities and think, I can do anything here, and that's what keeps them coming back. Let's talk about some of the updates that kept it fresh. There was the Village and Pillage update, which made villages more alive with things like wandering traders, pillager raids, and new village structures. Then there was the Nether update, which turned the Nether into this crazy, dangerous place with new biomes like Crimson Forests and Warped Forests, plus new mobs like Hoglins and Piglins, and huge structures called bastions you can explore and loot. Each update felt like a whole new game. More recently, they dropped the Caves and Cliffs update, which made the world taller and deeper, with massive cave systems, mountain ranges, and new mobs like axolotls and glow squid. They also added new blocks like amethyst and copper, which you can use to build even cooler stuff. It's like they're constantly finding ways to surprise us and give us more to play with. Now, here's the funny part. Notch isn't even involved anymore. After the Microsoft sale, he stepped back from the game. He's still out there, living his life, but he's not running Minecraft or making decisions about it. The game has outgrown him, which is kinda wild when you think about it. It started as one guy's hobby, coded in his apartment late at night, and now it's a global phenomenon with over 140 million monthly players. It's on every platform you can think of: PC, consoles, mobile, even virtual reality. You can play it alone, with friends, or on huge servers with thousands of people. There are servers dedicated to role-playing, where you pretend to be knights or wizards, survival challenges where you have to scavenge for every resource, or creative modes where you can build anything without worrying about dying. And get this, Minecraft isn't just for gamers anymore. Companies use it for team-building exercises, where employees work together to build projects and solve problems. Museums use it to recreate historical sites, like the Pyramids of Giza or the Colosseum, so visitors can explore them in a new way. Scientists use it to model things like climate change, architecture, or even space exploration. There's this incredible project called Build the Earth, where a global community is working to recreate the entire planet inside Minecraft, block by block. They've already done parts of Europe, Asia, and North America, with every city, river, and mountain in stunning detail. It's a massive undertaking, and it shows how far the game's reach has gone. So, what's the takeaway here? Minecraft's history isn't just about a game. It's about how a simple idea, digging blocks, placing them, building stuff, can turn into something that changes the way people think about creativity, community, and fun. It's about the power of letting people make their own stories, their own worlds, their own rules. It shows that even in a world full of high-budget, hyper-realistic games with million-dollar marketing campaigns, sometimes the simplest things can have the biggest impact. Minecraft isn't just a game, it's a movement, and it's still going strong, still inspiring people, still making us laugh when we accidentally blow up our own houses with TNT or get chased by a horde of zombies at midnight. Alright, that's the whole story of Minecraft. If you liked this, hit that subscribe button.